Alright, you've been able to skate through the referencing stage. You've given reference to your referrals, and then they have filled the reference form and all of that. Within 1 or 2 weeks or about a month thereabout, you are most likely going to get this kind of an email. Alright, test to assess account activation. Okay, so as part of your application with Cambridge Assessment International Education, you are required to undertake a marking exercise on RMA3, our online marking system. Please and please, this is one of the most one of the best training they give. All right, so you need to take it very serious. And first is that you are supposed to act on this email within 7 days. If you don't act on it within 7 days, it doesn't speak well of your application, because it shows that if you are able to act well on it in time, it shows you are sensitive to emails. Now there are 2 links. The first link is this one that I circled here. Before you make use of it, just come down, scroll down. Okay, let's go down. Okay, all right. So there is another link at the bottom here. Now this is the first link you are supposed to work with, and before you click on that link, you will observe that they will have sent you a username. Okay, they will have sent you a username which you are going to use on this second link. So you take note of the username. You are not supposed to copy and paste the username. You have to type in the username to avoid errors. Okay, so this is the username I'm talking about here. Okay, so please take note that you will have been given a username. Now let me click on the link. Let me click on it. For my own, this link has expired already. I've done that the needful within the 7 days, but right now as I'm making this video, it has expired. If not, you'll have seen a place here where it prompt me to create a password for that particular email. Username that they sent to me. So those are the details I will use to access the portal. Now let me go back up, and now I will now be able to use this second link. Click on it. Let's allow it to load. Okay, now that it has loaded, the password, the username and the password I just created, I will enter them here. Mine has been saved, so it is auto loading here. So let me click on it and enter it. Okay, so I will log in. Now that I've logged in, there are 2 main menu here that have concern to us: the RM assessor and then the component. So let's start with the component. Yeah, this is the component here. Okay, so let's click on component, then we'll click on view component. Okay, now the component, the main thing that is in the component is the mark guide that you are going to use to mark the dummy that you are going to mark on the portal. All right, so let me scroll to where the mark guide is. Okay, all right, so here is the mark guide here, yeah. So you say it like this, and then you can download it onto your phone or your laptop. Okay, all right, so okay, let me download it. Click on it, and then it's yes, I'll download it. Okay, so I can now open it with my any app I'm using to open document. I'm using WPS, so it will open up for me. Okay, here is it. It will start with the questions. The question that the candidate answered in the dummy. So the questions. Okay, now here is the mark guide. Okay, so here is the mark guide that I'll be working with. It comes after the questions. So it contains, each question has details of what is acceptable and then specific instruction guideline to help in marking it, so that you didn't participate in the coordination. So but since it is one of your determining training, you need to take your time to do it well, so that you'll be able to apply the mark guide. Okay, okay, we also, but then before we continue, let's come back here. Now let's click on RM Assessor. The first thing we're supposed to have done is to accept terms and conditions. In fact, if you did not accept the terms and conditions, you wouldn't have been able to access anything here. Okay, so but don't forget me, I've done all this before I started making this video. Okay, so let's go back again, click on RM Assessor. Then after accepting terms and conditions, there is a place here you have what we call the training guidance. So when you click on the training guidance, it says welcome to Cambridge Test. To access, to begin, please click on the training link below to download Cambridge Test to access user guide. Okay, so here is the training guide. So let me download it. It's different from the mark guide. Let me open it. Okay, so this is what the training guidance look like. Say test to access user guide. All right, so here is where they explain how to log into RM Assessor, which is what I've been showing you to earlier on. Then on RM Assessor, it's where you are going to accept terms and conditions, training guidance. So you can see here terms and conditions first before you go to training guidance. Okay, then you download it, then you come back and download component, which is the mark guide. Then lastly, you now come and click on RM Assessor. Access RM Assessor, yes, for you to access the marking portal. Okay, let's access that. Now you still use the same password that you created from your username and password that you created from your email. Then that's what you're going to use when you get to the RM Assessor. So let's get to the interface, and then you can also go through the whole document for the training. All right, okay, because it has details about the fact that there are going to be 5 dummies 2 will have been marked by a senior examiner. So you can be checking as you are marking if your marking is in agreement with what the senior examiner has done, while the other 3 are the ones that they want to use to assess the fact that you've been able to understand the mark guide or be able to apply the mark guide. Okay, now the tools here, we also explore them when we get into marking. So you'll be making use of picking tools from here to use for your marking. Okay, so that's what is in the training guide. Okay, so we'll go back to log in now into our RM Assessor. Okay, okay, so this is how the RM Assessor login looks like. So you use the same details to log in. When you enter your details, you click on marking. Don't click on familiarization, please. You click on marking, not familiarization. Click on marking, not familiarization. Okay, so once you log in, you will see the papers here. So you click on my marking. Please, for you to use your phone, you need to put it on desktop side. I think I've shown you how to do that before. So you put it on desktop side, and then I'm relogging in as is now on desktop side. So you click on my marking. So the first papers, 2 papers you see are the ones that have been marked by a senior examiner. Okay, which as you mark, you can be checking for yourself if what you are doing is correct for the first 2 before you start marking the other 3. So let me click and start. So here is the question I want to mark. But before I mark, I will need to choose the tools I will use for marking. Okay, now also before I do that, look at somewhere here. You have option to mark question by question or by candidate. I strongly advise that you tick on mark by question. If you mark by candidate, it means you will finish marking for student A before you go and mark for student B. But if you say question by question, it will be easy to apply each marking as you scroll by. Now let me choose the tools that I will use to mark. I've already chosen some here, but to know how to pick all these tools that you are seeing here, you can use any of them for your marking. Okay, so if you want to pick a tool, you hold and drag and drop. Alright, like I just drag and drop that point now if I want to use it. That's how I drag and drop the tick mark and the X mark. Okay, so okay, so let me look at this. Okay, so once I've taken choosing the drag and drop the tools I'll be using to mark, then I'm ready to mark. I'm ready to mark for this particular question now. Okay, by the time I'm done marking, I'll come down here to pick a value. I will show you soon. If you look at this candidate, I've given him 3 ticks. which is equal to 3 marks. So when I come down here, I've given him 3 here. I can type 3 from my keyboard, okay? But checking the mark guide here, the mark guide says I should give 1 mark per row, 1 mark per row of correct answer. So that's what I'll be applying to give the candidate 3 marks for every row in that question that is correct. Is 1 mark. So if I come back here, I can type the 3 from my keyboard. But look at, okay, for me to do that, I pick. If I'm giving a tick, I click on the tick. If I'm giving an X, I'll click on the X. Okay, I've done this already, but I haven't given the 3 ticks. I'll now come down. You can see the marks here: 1 mark, 0 mark, 3 marks, 2 marks. No response. There is also NR there, which is no response, as if a student does not answer a particular question. Okay, now after giving that candidate 3 marks, the question automatically changes to the next candidate. That's because I've chosen mark by question. So again, I'll give this one to this one. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is another question. Here is another question. So let me check carefully from the mark guide. Okay. Okay, so this is based on these instructions here on the mark guide. Let me go. Okay. All right, so I'll be going back to check what the senior examiner, how did he judge this question. Okay, how did the senior examiner judge this response? Sorry, the response that the student gave here. How did he judge it? Okay, for me to do that, I will shift the screen. Alright, I will shift the screen towards the right. Alright, for me to see how the senior examiner judged it. Okay, I'll click on the annotation and definitive mark. Then you will see what the senior examiner rated the student. Alright, okay, so and you also see the places he gave the ticks and the X's to show what he marked. Okay, so for this candidate he gave him 1 mark out of 2. So me too, I'll give him what? 1 mark. Okay, so the next question also automatically loaded. Okay, I will make use of my tick and again let's check definitive mark. Okay, 2.2, let's check. Okay, so this is where only final. So omitter, I will give what? 2 points. Okay, so that is how you keep marking, checking until you are done with the practices. Then you now mark the standardization script. Okay, Now once you are done with marking of the dummy, you are going to submit it. Now at this stage you have done so well. They will be the one to take it off from there. If they are impressed by the way you marked, and okay, they can either approve it. Okay, at this stage, after this marking, you will see that there's something will be on review. For some, it may be on review for just a short while. For others, it may be on review for a long time. Okay, but after this marking, it's either they review it, and approve it. Okay, if they do not approve it, then it will become rejected. But it's not that common. If you did your marking of the standardization very well, you to reject is not common. Okay, it's not common, except it did not work well with the RM assessor portal. That is what usually leads to rejection. Okay, so now after approval, you need to also, they just will follow the instruction in this email to access this portal. You will also get instructions in the email, and you need to follow it step by step to be able to gain access to examiner's dashboard. Examiner's dashboard, that is where you're going to input your account details. That's where you're going to upload your passport and indicate if you are willing to travel within or outside the country, if they have a job for you. So you put in all those details on the examiner dashboard. The dashboard you will still be using for now while you are still doing all this is applicant dashboard. You cannot impute anything like exam. Like when we were filling the profiling, there was no place to put anything like banking details and all of that. It is on examiner's dashboard you do that. Okay, so I wish you the very best of luck. If you have any question, don't forget to use any of our forum or channels to ask your question. You can ask question on the website here by where you are taking the lecture, and you can also use either WhatsApp or Telegram group, as the case may be, to ask your question, and anybody that's on ground will attend to it. Thank you very much. Have a successful and prosperous application.